What's going on, guys? Crooked here from Off the Brink TV, bringing you another video. This time, Torment 6 ready. Now, I was doing a lot of reading, a lot of research, because I got a couple of drops, got a couple of new pieces, and I really wanted to go Torment 6. And I tried going in at it glass cannon because recently, from a few drops I got, I did achieve top 100 world damage, elemental damage, because of the amazing Natalia's Slayer that actually dropped for me 2 days ago. I absolutely melt T3 rifts. I will be doing a video on that, just showing you how much faster I am now taking down Torment 3 rifts. However, I realized that glass cannon is for noobs, especially in Torment 6, and if you remember, I actually said that in my first video because I did not believe in glass cannon. I am a strong believer in number bloating, and that's what most people do on Diablo Progress. It is not efficient to go glass cannon or straight damage for higher Torment levels. Is it fun for seeing how fast you can melt bosses in campaign? Is it cool to see how fast you can take down Torment 1 through 3? Absolutely. But for higher Torment levels, it is not okay. I don't know if you've heard of Rifted Forward. I've done a bunch of Rifted Forwards, had some people come into my Torment 5 and Torment 6 rifts to take down the Guardian, and these Demon Hunters are glass cannon, these Wizards are glass cannon. They don't know what they're doing. They're copying and pasting gear sets, and they're dying. And obviously, you're searching for information, which is why you're on my not too popular videos, hopefully to become more popular. So I am going to help you with actually learning and knowing your class so that you can go into Torment 6, not just look at damage, not just look at numbers and think that higher numbers is the way to go. Obviously, there's going to be gameplay footage of me taking down an entire Torment 6 rift. I'm going to put the entire gameplay, the entire rift at the end of this video, so you can check that out. The timestamp will be in the description. But what you want to do, at least with my setup, is you want to have a good versatility of both damage and toughness. And you want to achieve the extra damage or the extra boiling point of taking down champion packs and mobs quickly by utilizing your 6-set bonus through your Marauders pieces. Now, this is an extremely underrated set bonus, which is the 6-set bonus. It is so underrated, and I don't know why. And I'm going to give you 2 variations of how to use the 6-set bonus and what passives to use to really melt Torment 6. Now, granted, obviously, this is a Torment 6 video, so you will need to have some rare items. I'm going to show you some rare items, if you have one or the other, that you could switch between, what abilities you can change to kind of work with what you have. However, a majority of the items you're going to need to have are rare. Alright, with that said, I want to jump right into and start with my current gear setup so you can actually grasp what I'm doing Torment 6 in. As you could see, my damage, even though it's right under 1,000,000 sheet, obviously I have a little higher elemental and even a little higher than that elite elemental DPS. However, where I am getting most of my damage from is the 6-set. Now, I don't know if you guys actually read the Blizzard posts for the patch notes, but they actually buffed the 6-set Marauders bonus. Now, the sentries that cast your equipped hatred spenders actually spend your hatred abilities twice the amount of time now, which makes it extremely lethal in Torment 6, because you can actually drop your sentries and then evade, and you can play defensively. So what I recommend, obviously the Cinder Coat is extremely overpowered, so I recommend keeping your Cinder Coat and going with Marauder's helmet, gloves, shoulders, pants, and boots with your Royal Ring of Grandeur, so you could go ahead and achieve that 6-set bonus. Now, as you guys know from my first and second video, I have the Kridershot already, so because my Kridershot has vitality, I use the Kridershot to actually achieve around 10 to 11 million toughness while only using awareness and keeping Cull of the Weak, Archery, and Blood Vengeance, which are really great passives, on board, so I don't have to use 2 defensive passives. So right there, my first tip would be to try to get your 6-set Marauders with your Royal Ring, while also achieving high toughness with at most, only one defensive passive. Okay, that is my recommendation. Now, I like to use my Kridershot because I actually have the elemental damage. I got a kind of a shitty roll on my helmet, so it rolled with elemental arrow damage. Obviously, ideally, you would want Dex, Vitality, crit chance, and cluster arrow damage, but if it drops with the socket and cluster arrow damage, reroll for your crit hit chance. If you're over 50% like I am, you can actually swap out that crit chance for Vitality. You know, kind of gauge where you are in the rift and what you kind of need on how you should reroll your helmet. Obviously not going too high with the roll, so if you get if you reroll once and get Vitality, stick with Vitality if you're over 50% crit. I rerolled, got the Vitality, but I didn't really need Vitality because I'm melting the Torment 6 without needing too much life, only at around 520,000 life. So I went ahead and rerolled for the crit chance. Now, also, what I mean about gauging how you are in the rift is because I don't really need the Kridershot because I have 2 unities. The unity, all damage taken is split between the wearers of this item. So if you have a companion that has the item that makes them invincible, you can equip the unity on yourself and a unity on your companion, and that will literally halve the damage that you take. Now, I'm trying to get a critical hit damage instead of attack speed roll on this ring, but this is actually overall a pretty good roll because I have the Dex. If I could get the crit damage and crit chance, I'm only really sacrificing 15% of damage against elites from my Stone of Jordan. My Stone of Jordan is slightly better than having a critical hit damage roll because I have the fire skills deal 17% more damage, but with higher crit chance, the more critical damage you have, the higher your damage, your sheet damage goes. So fire and critical hit damage, there really is only a slight increase in overall damage by having the fire skill over the critical hit damage. But it's a lot easier to get closer to cap on your elemental damage on a Stone of Jordan, which is why if you get your fire skills, most likely it's going to roll between 15 and 20% as opposed to between 25 and 50% for the critical hit damage. If you don't know what I mean by that, post in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer you. I don't want to go too much into that because the video is going to be long enough with the gameplay at the end. So, just to rehash, you want to go ahead and get your 6-set. What I did also was I swapped out my Hellcat waist guard for this belt just so I could get a little more life and resistance. This actually increased my toughness by 13%. So I'd rather take the 5% off of the belt and then go ahead and be able to put a Natalia Slayer here, which would bring my damage up to about almost 1.1 million and allow me to shoot a lot faster than using the Kridershot with the elemental arrow. Now, why is this also beneficial for when you're dropping your sentries is because when you have your Kridershot on here, you're using elemental arrow and a cluster arrow. So the 6-set bonus, sentries casting your hatred spenders, is actually going to cast your elemental arrow and your cluster arrows instead of just your cluster arrows when you have something normal on when you don't have elemental arrow on your bars because you're using, you know, entangling shot, or in my case I like to use hungering arrow, and I'm going to get into that with you right now. So if you're using a one-handed bow, my recommendation is, and especially since I have hungering arrow damage on my pants here, I like to go with hungering arrow, the fire rune, which is going to be, probably just past it, here we go, it's going to be serrated arrow, because it increases your hatred generation to 6. So you're generating a lot of hatred by using this, and you're shooting a lot quicker, which is a lot similar to the Kridershot. But the Kridershot only generates 4 hatred, so you're going to be gaining a lot more hatred if you're using a one-hander, if you can use a one-hander and you have the damage to offset it. If you have a Calamity, use the Calamity instead of a Natalia Slayer or the Kridershot. Obviously, it's the most overpowered weapon in the game. If you don't know what a Calamity is, look it up. The legendary affix actually puts Mark of Death on all the mobs, which is actually not a buff to you, so it stacks, with your companion, wolf companion. And what I mean by it stacks is because it increases the damage taken by all the mobs. So it's a debuff to the monsters by 20%, plus your 30% when you use your wolf is going to dish out a lot more damage than using a Natalia Slayer, which really doesn't have anything too impressive in terms of legendary affixes. Now, this is my gear setup. You can mix and match. The goal is to get around 1 million, maybe 2 million Elemental Elite if you check your Diablo progress status, and get around 8, 9 to 10 or 11 million toughness while using just one defensive passive. Now, I can do this, remember, because I have a Unity. If you don't have 2 Unities, my recommendation would be to get over 10 million, use a Kridershot that has Vitality on it, or something else that has Vitality on it, and get to work. Now, the last part of my gear setup that I really like is my Quiver. Okay, this Quiver's legendary affix allows you to have 2 additional sentries. Now, if you guys have a Hell Trap from Act 5 bounties, that'll drop sentries infinitely. 7% every time you hit a mob, you have a chance to drop a sentry, cow trap, or a spike trap. So if you have a Hell Trap, you might want to rock that. If you have a Calamity, you might want to rock that. If you guys have that, I don't have those 2 items. If you have those and are doing Torment 6, please post in the comment section. Let me know how it is. Is it worth it for me to farm a Hell Trap? Is it worth it for me to go Calamity Hell Trap combo instead of a Quiver and getting the toughness because it does that much more damage? Let me know. Those are some new items I'm working on getting so I can actually try those combinations. But in the meantime, I'm getting toughness from the 740 Vitality on this. Little less attack speed than my other one, but this is increasing my sentry damage by 11%. And allowing me to have 2 additional sentries. So essentially, I can have 4 sentries on the ground at a time. Moving right along, I want to go into my build. Hungering Arrow or Elemental Arrow is what I recommend. Cluster Arrow, Vault Trail of Cinders, Smokescreen Healing Vapors, which is a complete necessity. I'm using Sentry because I don't have a Hell Trap, Companion, Wolf Companion, Blood Vengeance, Cull the Weak, Archery, Awareness. But the Sentry, you could switch between either a Spitfire turret, which is going to give you the fire elemental. It's going to also shoot out those rockets. But what I like to use is the Guardian turret because it actually decreases the damage that you take by 15%. And believe it or not, when you have 4 of these up, it leaves for a big area of that bubble. So you're taking a lot less damage overall. Plus with your 4 set, you're taking 20% less damage because of your Boar companion, and you're getting the benefits of all the other companions out there. You're going to put resist all in all the sockets that you have here except for your helm. You want to get the additional life there. That's about it for the gear and the setup on the bars. Now stay tuned for some gameplay footage and look at how great the 6 set Marauders is. Enjoy, guys.
Here you are. Too heavy. ready